Hey everyone, I'm Blake Anderson, a videographer based right here in Toronto, and today I want to walk you through a game-changing workflow that has personally saved me countless hours every single week. This process leverages the power of AI, smart automation, and modern tools to streamline everything from concept development all the way to ready-to-post social media assets. I'll show you exactly how I moved from that initial spark of an idea all the way to a polished long-form video alongside a whole stack of clips perfectly formatted for every social platform. The key is weaving tools like Vizard right into the pipeline so you can spend significantly less time chopping up footage and way more time making the kind of content you actually enjoy creating. So let's kick things off right at the very beginning with the crucial stage we call pre-production. For me, those great ideas usually hit me when I'm out walking or maybe while I'm already deep into another project, and trying to stop to type them out always seems to completely kill that creative momentum. That's why I've adopted a dictation-first approach, which means I record these long, raw takes of my thoughts to get all those initial ideas out of my head as quickly as possible. The real magic happens next when I let artificial intelligence take over to help me shape and refine those massive audio dumps into something usable. Utilizing dedicated apps like Whisper, which thankfully have very functional iPhone versions, is incredible because you can record marathon sessions, I mean seriously, up to an hour or more, and get back perfectly readable paragraphs instead of one giant, unusable blob of text. This transcription step alone is such a monumental time saver when you consider the alternative of transcribing it all manually. What I immediately do after getting the text is funnel those clean transcriptions directly into my main personal notes system for organization. You can achieve this funneling using simple email forwarding rules, leveraging smart filtering services, or even just using an app like Drafts on Mac to quickly grab the text and send it where you need to edit from. I integrate small, repetitive automation steps into this process, such as using text expander snippets or pre-save prompts, so I never have to waste time retyping the same AI instructions over and over again. The main objective during this structuring stage is to successfully transform that messy, dictated stream of consciousness into a very clear, functional scaffold. That scaffold must include a finalized title, about 10 to 15 distinct slide headers, and then 3 core main points clearly defined underneath each header. Having that underlying structure is genuinely everything because it provides me with essential speaking cues and makes the entire recording session feel much more natural than just reading off a monolithic full-length script. I know many creators immediately jump straight into writing out those comprehensive word-for-word scripts, which is perfectly fine if that's your preference. However, for my personal style, structuring my notes using distinct slides that function like H2 or H3 headers, essentially a headline paired with 3 strong bullet points, helps me maintain a conversational tone while ensuring all key ideas get covered. I format these structured notes using Markdown syntax, using a simple dash line to clearly separate the individual slides, which is a universal separator that most software understands. Then I drop that formatted text into a simple Markdown-based presenter application to quickly generate my starter set of presentation slides. From that starting point, the next step is to export the deck as a ProRes movie file, which is crucial for maintaining the highest possible quality and avoiding frustrating compression artifacts later in the actual editing phase. Once that visually sound deck exists, the actual production phase becomes wonderfully straightforward and almost painless. I set up my camera, pull up those beautifully crafted slides onto a secondary monitor, and simply record myself walking through the points, mostly ad-libbing but always informed by the scaffold I already built. Keeping the delivery loose and authentic like this ensures the final long-form piece feels genuine and human to the viewer watching it. If you personally prefer reading from a tighter, fully written script, feel free to do that, but for me, those slide headers are the perfect guide to sound like a person and not merely a teleprompter reading machine. Now we move into post-production, which is absolutely where modern AI tools can take on some serious heavy lifting for you. I used to spend what felt like forever meticulously scrubbing out every single every retake, and every painfully awkward pause from the raw footage. The tool Descript is absolutely amazing for this task. You transcribe your final take, and then you simply let its AI handle the tedious job of removing all filler words and automatically tightening up the overall pacing. It is important to note that it's not always 100% perfect every single time, and occasionally it might suggest a weird edit, so I still always give the AI's suggestions a quick visual glance through. Even with that quick review, this step alone shaves off several solid hours from my typical editing time, which is a massive win. For the final timeline work, handling color grading, sound mixing, and that final polish, Final Cut Pro remains my dedicated and trusted editor of choice. This involves applying a quick, reliable LUT to convert the footage to RAC 709, running a little bit of noise reduction if necessary, and sometimes pulling in magic bullet looks if I want to introduce a specific stylized vibe. But here is the critical bottleneck that I see almost every single creator consistently hit, turning that beautifully edited long video into genuinely snackable, high-performing clips for all the different social platforms. You could certainly use other tools to manually clip segments or just spend ages scrubbing through your main timeline guessing which specific moments might actually pop off on a feed, but that process is painfully slow and often feels like pure guesswork. This exact pain point is precisely where Vizard transforms from a helpful addition into an absolute undeniable game changer within my entire production pipeline. Instead of manually hunting for those elusive viral moments, I simply upload the entire long file, and then I let Vizard intelligently scan the footage to find the absolute best snippets automatically. It targets moments identified by high energy, very clear audience hooks, or those genuinely strong punchlines, and then it auto-edits them into clips that are immediately ready for posting across any channel. For anyone who is juggling an entire content channel solo or with a small team, that single automated feature alone is easily worth the investment of time and money. What's so powerful is that Vizard doesn't just mindlessly spit out a few short videos, it actually understands the underlying context of your content. It suggests multiple distinct clip variations for you to choose from, automatically formats them perfectly for both vertical and square output ratios, and will even propose compelling captions and compelling thumbnail ideas. That level of comprehensive optimization is hugely different from those simpler tools that only perform basic trimming functions. Those basic trimmers might be fast, but they absolutely will not optimize. Which specific parts of your video have the highest statistical probability of actually spreading virally across a platform? While I still highly value Descript for its transcript-based editing capabilities and Final Cut for that final artistic pass, Vizard occupies the crucial step in between them that truly multiplies your overall content output. It multiplies your output without multiplying the amount of tedious manual work you have to personally put in every single day. The next major logistical pain point most creators face is the actual scheduling and distribution of all those newly created clips. I used to have to export a massive folder of finished clips, then manually jump across every single platform, copy and paste captions, and painstakingly set individual posting times. And honestly, that whole process absolutely sucks. Vizard's integrated auto-schedule feature completely eliminates this headache by allowing me to define a consistent posting frequency and then handing the rest of the heavy lifting off to its internal AI. It intelligently spaces out those clips over time so my channel remains consistently active without me having to constantly babysit every single scheduled post throughout the day. When you layer that scheduling power with a good content calendar view, it becomes genuinely easy to see exactly what's going live when, allowing for quick last-minute tweaks or shuffling priority posts around effortlessly. And for those of you working with a larger team, this centralized view becomes the single source of truth to manage content across all channels, effectively ending all that spreadsheet chaos and those missed post windows. I want to spend a quick moment talking about the accompanying visuals and necessary B-roll footage for these short clips. I often supplement my own footage by integrating AI-generated images or very short video loops when real specific B-roll simply isn't available or practical to shoot. Tools like Mid-Journey Stable Diffusion or those built into the latest AI suites are perfectly fine for generating conceptual assets, but the guiding principle should always be to keep the visuals very simple. The visuals must always support the core message you are delivering, rather than becoming a distraction that pulls the viewer's attention away from your words. Furthermore, resist the urge to overload your short clips with an excessive amount of text overlays. Instead, favor clean, supporting motion graphics, subtle motion crops, and gentle transition effects. Generally, I aim to generate around 10 to 20 high-quality visual assets per main topic, and then I allow the final timeline breathing room by placing just a few very well-chosen visuals strategically. Let's quickly summarize the technical integration tips for getting this all running smoothly from end to end. First, export your finalized, cleaned-up long-form video as a high-quality H.264 file from your editor, or use ProRes if you absolutely need that maximum quality ceiling. Next, you upload that master file directly to Vizard and allow the platform to begin its comprehensive analysis while you are multitasking. While that analysis is running, this is the perfect time to create your supplemental assets, like designing attractive thumbnails in Canva or finalizing any required short-form captions. Once Vizard returns its batch of clip suggestions, take a moment to quickly scan through them because you will often discover multiple high-quality variants of the very same great moment, optimized specifically for different platform requirements. You then select your best handful of clips, make any necessary micro-tweaks to the suggested captions, and then you can either schedule them directly within the tool or pull them into your preferred external social scheduler. The sheer amount of time this entire streamlined process saves is truly insane. What used to consume an entire afternoon of dedicated editing and uploading can now frequently be completed in one decisive, focused hour. I do want to call out a couple of honest limitations here so you have a fully transparent view of what to expect from this technology. The initial whisper-type dictation is absolutely phenomenal for speed, but it is not flawless. Strong accents, significant background noise, or even minor tech hiccups can occasionally mean you still need to perform a final proofread. Similarly, Descript's automatic filler word removal is incredibly fast, but it can sometimes mistakenly cut a critical beat or natural pause that you actually wanted to keep in the final delivery, so always eyeball that timeline quickly. We also must remember that some of the newer AI image generators can be quite inconsistent when rendering realistic human faces or specific brand logos, so avoid relying on them for anything that is even remotely brand sensitive. Finally, even the most advanced scheduling tools can never truly replace the necessity of a well-thought-out creative content calendar. Never automate your entire output strategy without having that foundational plan in place. When we compare this system to other products on the market, we find that many tools do specific parts of this workflow exceptionally well, like Descript nailing transcript-driven edits or certain browser-based editors offering convenience. However, most of them stop far short of covering the entire content lifecycle, often failing to prioritize what's likely to trend or manage the scheduling across multiple platforms seamlessly. Vizard genuinely excels in bridging that missing middle ground, taking a long video and turning it into numerous optimized posts, then immediately helping you distribute them without requiring a huge amount of manual follow-up work. That is precisely where you unlock that exponential multiplier effect on your overall content velocity and reach. Here are a few essential production tricks I've personally learned along this journey that you should incorporate immediately. Always strive to keep your presentation slides visually consistent across the deck so that any AI-generated clips pulled from them feel naturally coherent when stitched together. Make it a habit to record a few intentional short pinch clips, maybe 10 to 20 seconds of high-energy commentary that are explicitly designed to serve as strong attention-grabbing hooks for your short-form content. When you are recording your long-form piece, use Final Cut's Magic Mask feature to cleanly separate yourself from the background if you plan on putting dynamic slides or visuals directly behind you, as this keeps the viewer's eye solidly anchored on your face. This masking technique makes the presentation look much more cinematic and professional, greatly enhancing viewer retention. And finally, always export that absolute highest quality master file before sending anything over to any kind of auto-clipping or AI tool, because more data gives those systems a better chance to work with. So let's quickly recap the short version of my entire recommended pipeline, starting with getting the core idea down. First step, dictate all your long-form ideas and then quickly refine them into that structured slide scaffold we discussed earlier. Second step, record your loose, natural long-form video while using those structured slides strictly as your on-set reference points. Third step, move into Descript to clean up the raw audio track and completely remove all those distracting filler words you naturally used. Fourth step, jump into Final Cut Pro for the absolute final touches. That includes color correction, final sound mixing, and any last artistic decisions. Fifth step, upload that high-quality export file to Vizard and let the system automatically generate all those optimized, ready-to-use social clips for you. Sixth step, utilize Vizard's powerful scheduling and content calendar features to ensure you are publishing consistently across all platforms without constant manual intervention. And finally, the seventh step is to top everything off with any custom-designed thumbnails and give the entire package a quick manual polish before it goes live. I know some of you might feel a bit worried about the idea of automating creativity, but I want you to reframe that thought immediately. Think of these technologies not as replacements for your talent, but as powerful amplifiers that scale your best efforts exponentially. The actual creative choices, what you choose to say, your unique point of view, the subtle jokes you drop in, that is still entirely your distinct voice and irreplaceable. Tools like Vizard are designed specifically to let you scale the distribution and experimentation phases of your work without causing you to burn out from the tedious repetition. This means you can finally afford to try out many different thumbnail ideas, test posting multiple clip variants, and quickly see what truly resonates with your audience, all while doing far less of that grinding manual upkeep. If you are interested in trying out this exact workflow right now, I highly recommend you start small by taking just one recent long-form video you already made and running it through these described steps. Then take a moment to honestly compare the total time investment it took you this time versus the previous time you edited that piece of content manually. I can almost guarantee you will shave off several hours per finished video and be able to confidently double or even triple the sheer number of clips you publish every single week. It is this massive increase in publishing velocity and frequency where real, tangible channel growth is ultimately found. Alright, so that is my current, fully battle-tested routine, taking you all the way from that initial dictation to the final scheduled clips with real tools and documented wins. If you found this detailed breakdown genuinely useful and it helped clarify your own process, please remember to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more practical workflow deep dives. And for those of you who have already implemented Vizard or perhaps another auto-clipping solution, I would absolutely love to read your specific experiences in the comments below. What worked for you, and perhaps more importantly, what didn't work? Thank you so much for watching today, and I sincerely wish you all the best of luck with your content creation endeavors going forward.